Alright. Well, you know what this means, right? Prepare to go through the archives with me. And let's go ahead and do it on the altar here. So any code corruption of that form. This is inconsistent, so I'm not sure how to read that one. But if we see any more of the code we just... see right there. Here we go. Let's begin our little lore mining. 54, 72, 75, 74, 68, 20, 77, 61, 73, 20, 74, 68, 65, 20, 6F, 6E, 6C, 79, 20, 64, 61, 75, 67, 68, 74, 65, 72, 20, 6F, 66, 20, 54, 69, 60, 65, 2E. Having no inherent knowledge of the nature of the world, forced to rely on what we are told by others and what our own subjective, flawed, limited senses tell us, truth was the only daughter of time. Social reality, belief, and objective reality come into conflict. Truth was the only daughter of time. Oh. Poem. Is John Milton a poet that I don't know of? Oh. I'm an idiot. John Milton wrote Paradise Lost. Okay. So, let's translate what's stuck in John Milton's little passage here. By the way, I am sorry if this is not your idea of a fun episode, but I really cannot resist. I have to know all this stuff. You give me a gosh darn code, I will find a way. 64, 26F, 66, 20, 65, 78, 63, 65, 73, 70, 26C, 65, 61, 64, 73, 65, 20, 70, 61, 6C, 61, 63, 65, 26F, 66, 20. '77, 69, 73, 64, 6F, 6F, 60, 2E. Wait a minute. 73. Where's that break at? It breaks between 73 and 65. 2070. Okay. I may have mistranslated, but we will see at the end. Alright. The road of excess leads. That day I oft remember, when from sleep I first awakened and found myself reposed. Palace of wisdom, under a shade on flowers, much wondering where and what I was, whence thither I brought, and how to the... Okay, interesting. Road of excess leads, Palace of wisdom, to the something. Oop! Did not mean to do that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I guess there'll be an opportunity for me to talk about various things. So, in the spirit of the Talos Principle, I suppose we should make it something contemplative. You have to be somewhat in admiration of the way the human mind works. Or any mind, that is. Because we can't be certain how any mind works, because we don't even know how ours works. That is why one of the first technologies in Alpha Centauri is secrets of the human brain. We have a very strong 20, very strong ability to be introspective, to abstract, and even after abstracting, to subsequently interpret. And while puzzle solving is a massively important aspect of intelligence, more and more as time goes on, we find that intelligence is very varied in its sort of concepts. Recently, there's been a big favor in in more intellectual circles of multiple intelligence theory. The idea that you can't be necessarily derived particularly to one statistic, an IQ or anything, because there's so many different types of solution, of problems, of things that we can do and can't do. A lot of people laugh at it, at the idea, but really, I mean, just recently, what was it? Oh, that's right, John Oliver. I respect John Oliver a lot. I love his stuff. I think he's got really good insights on a lot of things. But recently, when talking about the candidates for the Canadian um, or Prime Minister from Canada, I believe it was. There was an interview with one person on a news show. He played a clip of where they were discussing one of the candidates' intelligence. Does he have that sort of, problem-solving skills, that intelligence, that insight? And the person they were interviewing sort of hesitated and goes, well, no, but he's got an emotional intelligence, which, of course, John Oliver kind of ripped into. But isn't emotional intelligence a form of intelligence? Some of the wisest people we know may not be the most up-to-date in technology or highest problem-solving skills. They may not have the greatest. But being able to know yourself, to introspect, to recognize emotion, to feel out emotion, that's all very, very important skills that, honestly, a lot of people don't have. We've put such a priority on these more analytical intelligences that we forget that so many different things come from our human minds. Art, philosophy, interpersonal skills, social skills. Anything where we can abstract. Anything where we can sort of take available information, process it, and respond in a way that others cannot. That's an intelligence. So here in the Talos Principle, a lot of these questions of being, of personhood, of intelligence, end up coming to the ability to take in available information and present that information in a new and novel way. So far, the characters we've encountered, you have one with faith, whom has seemed to solve a considerable number of problems of these puzzles. But one with faith ends up writing a message where one with faith is unable to complete some of these tasks and believes that, and because they have so much faith in the Creator, in Elohim, they believe that the fact they cannot complete these tasks means that they were never meant to be completed. In essence, one with faith has a considerable amount of intelligence. It only goes so far, though, as they're not able to solve a lot of the things they thought they were going to solve. But they don't have a lot of inquiry. They don't doubt the perfection of the voice above. They don't critique it. They have all of their trust and faith in them. And while that makes them markedly different, their thought process is markedly different from a number of the other models we've seen leaving messages. They prioritize that faith, and that means that their name, their designation, ends up becoming inevitably aligned with that, one with faith. We will have to see where that brings one with faith in the future, what responses that will create. But inevitably, I'm not certain one with faith really arrived at any point they truly desired. Sheep. Sheep is not very intelligent. However, the way Sheep writes is calculating, socially calculating. Sheep wants to sort of milk the MLA for available information to complete the tasks, but unlike one with faith, there's not really any sign that Sheep is sort of wholly given to the idea of Elohim being a perfect entity. In fact, he simply seems to do things because he's just following the instructions given, whether or not he thinks one way or another. You would expect that Sheep would fail, but Sheep's been getting pretty far. There have, of course, been those who have failed already. In fact, we saw one message very clearly denoting where one had failed. It failed to the point of simply giving up, in fact. I'd hazard to guess that that's the only way you can really fail these tasks, is because every time you die in this game, you simply rewind in the program, and it has to be a program, it has to be some sort of virtual reality thing. So the point is that all of these different entities, they're mainly being tried so far on an analytical level. But there's so much more to them than just analytics. There's so much more. And because of that, you sort of have to expect that if this is really about personhood, either the makers of these programs, these trials, failed miserably to understand what it is to be a person, or they're not even close to finishing testing. Alright, here we go. The coded text reads as follows. Behold, I create new behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. So this corruption is very, very... These pieces of code that are corrupting the archives, they appear to be very coherent. The lines are repeating, though, sort of overlapping themselves. Because invariably it comes back to these lines of godhood, which leads me to think that Elohim is either a corruption. It's either a corruption of the system, or he's losing coherence. Why else would... Except all these lines can't be Elohim. Because some of these lines are very doubt-laden at the same time. Are there multiple programs, I wonder, operating here? Maybe each program is meant to test a different type of intelligence, a different aspect of humanity. So, like, we've had the more introspective intelligence, the inward philosophizing. I can't think right now, I'm transcribing. But we've had these different... Maybe these are different programs. So, the MLA's questionnaire, the resulting response to our inquiry, that program that that One with Faith may be calling the Serpent. And then you have all these other lines of code, these hex codes, hoping that they might get read and revealed. So if they have to have successfully created intelligence, because through the actions of our character and our decisions, we actively are giving intelligence and life to our player character. The unexamined life is not worth living. That's what that text says. So, it's very particularly designed to create us, and we have been created as an artificial intelligence. We are an artificial intelligence, so they succeeded in creating it. So, question then is, how did they do that? How did we come to be after all of these others? What developed our program and created a wholly human-like intelligence? Because there has to be more than Elohim. For Elohim is entirely puzzle-based. An omnipotent force gives you a task of puzzles. Error files missing. That's what that one says. So there's got to be a lot more at work here. If there wasn't a lot more at work, then we wouldn't be. So, yeah. I think in the end, the question of intelligence comes down to, when do you pass it? How would you evaluate it? There's so many different types and aspects. What defines culture? You know, they said, if there was culture in Wales, maybe you'd have to reconsider, but what is culture? Anthropologists can't even tell you that, and that's what they study. Ooh, this one I'm translating right now seems to be actually important. Because it seems to actively be, continuing where the email left off. Where did I leave off? There it is. Love the music in this game too. It's very, very haunting. Reminds me a lot of a more orchestrated, orchestral, that's the word. More orchestral Myst. Which I have every intent of returning to and playing on the YouTube channel. The question of intelligence. The question of how do we define it. I think, in the end, that's why I personally treat a lot of the more visibly non-instinct driven entities with a lot of personhood. Ain't that right, Peggy? Oop, wait, where'd I... 61, 69, 60... okay. I am doing this as fast as possible. I would have considered cutting, but I'm currently still learning how to edit video files in more complicated ways, and I have no good way of cutting between stuff other than just jump cutting. And I don't think that would be very smart, so I'd rather just talk with you guys about intelligence. After some back and forth, we've decided to use the Sirius Engine 7.5. Enginine? 7.5. With which Crow Team have kindly made available to us. Okay. So some machine. There we go, progress. Athena. Singularity, and AMA. Okay. We have now officially finished World A to our liking.